Good morning, folks. My name is Francis Kelly. I come to you from Scaled Agile, and what you're holding in your hand is what we provide as a framework that is freely available and publicly facing. It's a knowledge base that I'm going to talk through today. So when I began my journey in software sales, we talked a lot about rapid application development and thought someday programming would be a lot like this. We'd be really taking bits of code and really abstractions of that and putting them together, but in most cases it really feels like this, right? At least all these people are co-located, so there is some benefit to these folks. And for those of you doing Agile out there, we still have challenges with our retrospectives. They look a lot like this, right? We have challenges with time to market, we have mismet requirements and expectations, and problems are discovered too late. I'm sure you folks are sharing some of those challenges in your Agile development today. And really, when you think about the challenge in scaling Agile, it really is a leadership challenge, and it is a management challenge. So when we talk in SAFE, we talk about leveraging the agility that's already in place in an organization and engaging leadership. We don't want their buy-off, we want their involvement and their engagement in the process. That's what's so important in the Scaled Agile framework. So you ask yourself out there, you're leaders and hiring great people, what is it that I can do in this new way of working and thinking with Agile teams? What is that management challenge, and what is it that you guys must do as managers? First, we talk about embracing lean Agile concepts. Then principles. At 4:30 today, I'll be talking about the 9 principles of the Scaled Agile framework that make SAFE safe for organizations. Leaders must implement these practices, and they must lead the implementation. We're beyond the days of thinking, oh yeah, I'm glad that teams are doing Agile. We need to change to being Agile as an organization from top to bottom. So in the Scaled Agile framework, we talk about embracing those values in the house of lean, where the foundation is leadership and the outcomes are value. And for those of you on Wi-Fi right now, you can go to the scaledagilephramawork.com. It's an entire knowledge base for you to consume. Lean Agile leadership is right there at the top. And what is it we're doing? We're trying to create value to our customers, both internal and external, in the shortest lead time. As we've seen in the 2 talks yesterday and today, this new economy expects a lot more, whether your customer is internal or external. Features need to be delivered very quickly and into market with no degradation in quality or responsiveness. So as I mentioned, we talk about the Lean Agile principles, the 9 principles that are in the Scaled Agile framework. Taking a step back and look at the economic view. Applying systems thinking. Taking a big step back from the painting and understanding really what's going on, the system, the enterprise as a system, and the people in it, and how do we make sure that as leaders we're walking around ensuring that we can push out those roadblocks for our people so they can do good work. We need to build incrementally, fast feedback cycles. Instead of using stage gates and documentation, we need to really have workable software as value. We also need to understand work in progress. An organization or a team running at full capacity is not going to get things done. We need to understand and limit WIP and visualize the work that the teams are doing. And of course, cadence, synchronization, and planning. Face-to-face planning. Our friends at CA talk about big room planning. We talk about release planning, spending 2 days together with the portfolio, the program, and the team, understanding the business vision and the value that we're to be developing, and really get together and understand what we can do during a program increment, which I'll talk about today. And as always, we need to be better leaders and unlock that intrinsic motivation of our knowledge workers. We need to get the challenges and roadblocks out of their way so they can do great work and create great code for us. And then decentralized decision making. Some of our decisions that are strategic and have large impacts to our economies of scale need to be centralized, but decentralize those other decisions that really need to be done by the team. Give them the quick wins that they can continue developing on. I talked to a few people yesterday when I spoke about the Lean Agile principles and the Safe 9 principles who are still working in that waterfall process of development and really having incredible challenges in saying, hey, we got documentation requirements, but really the system took so many months to build. We didn't hit all the features and we were late to market. That was really challenging. As we see here, incremental delivery, value is developed and delivered faster and faster. Develop on Cadence and release on demand. And as we look at the value that's brought to our customers, we can see here, with incremental development, we get fast feedback over time and really delight that customer. When I first learned about Agile, I was working for a company that developed customer relationship management systems. And we had a large amount of requirements from a given customer. But we said, hey, we're going to tackle some of these in a 2-week time. We're going to come back and demo to you. This is really shocking to our customer. Like, really, we're going to get to see something, some workable software, and make changes to that? I said, yeah, why wait 6 months? Let's go every 2 weeks. We'll meet for a half hour, show you what we've developed thus far, and see if that's good and valuable to you, or we can pivot. They were delighted by this process because they got to take some ownership and give us fast feedback on the things that we were developing. And that was excellent because the business needs change over time. Waterfall takes into no consideration any needs that change. So as I mentioned, SAFE is an online, freely revealed, publicly facing knowledge base for the application of lean and agile best practices at an enterprise scale. Rally, before their acquisition by CA, has been our top gold partner, and we look forward to that partnership growing with CA also as a gold partner to Scaled Agile. These guys get it. They have over 35 to 40 folks who are SAFE program consultants and can lead a transformation for an organization. Rally and CA can help you walk, run, sprint, and scale. Let's talk about the genesis and the development of SAFE. SAFE was developed by Dean Leffingwell. He wrote a book called Agile Software Requirements. And from that, we started down this journey of SAFE 1.0. And in our past, Dean Leffingwell worked with Ryan Martins, the beginnings of Rally, got some really good thoughts out on paper, and founded this in a framework in 2012. I joined the company in 2013 at the 2.0 and 2.5 level. We've released 3.0, and that's solving great problems for systems builders and software developers worldwide. If you look at the scaledagileFramework.com, click on case studies, it'll close that circle of trust for you because there's a lot of organizations, large Fortune 500 companies, who've depended on SAFE to accelerate their value delivery, both internal and external. And with 3.0, we've been making huge advancements worldwide to delight the customers, both internal and external. And it was those learnings here in 2015 and into 2016 that we're developing 4.0. And we look forward to having SAFE 4.0 out late this year, early next. And 4.0 will bring to us a new level of SAFE. We have the team, the program, the portfolio with 3.0. In 4.0, we'll have the team, the program, the value stream, and the portfolio, as well as a look to the enterprise. SAFE 4.0 was really a genesis of two things coming together. This year we went and embarked on a journey to look at lean systems engineering. And Dean and the framework team thought that perhaps a framework for just complex systems engineering for hardware systems would be ideal for the community. We developed a framework. You can find the preview at safelse.com. And that preview and the feedback we received was, please bring these frameworks together. Don't separate the systems builders and the complex systems engineers from the software developers. So as we look forward to the release of 4.0 in the coming weeks, expect that you'll have that convergence of those two frameworks to provide 4.0 to the industry. We're really excited about it. But that doesn't stop the excitement on 3.0. We'll keep 3.0 going for another year. When we release 4, all the courseware, all the certification kits that are on 3.0 will survive well through 2016. So there will be no end of life for 3.0. For those of you who aren't familiar with SAFe, this could look pretty busy, is that right? So let's take a look at SAFe in 8 pictures. We'll try to kind of decompose this. So as I mentioned, if you go out to thescaledagileFramework.com and take a look at our case studies, SAFe is proven. And it's proven by organizations who are adopting and adapting the framework to their needs and their requirements and accelerating their delivery to their customers, both internal and external. Some great companies here who have done great things with SAFe, and the case studies keep coming. If you look on the case study site right now, we just added Electa. That's a great story about how the folks at Electa and the folks at CA Rally got together, had a great transformation using the tooling that CA provides, as well as the framework from Scaled Agile. So logos really are good, but outcomes are a lot better. And these are the types of outcomes we see with the Scaled Agile framework. If you flip over the diagram, the SAFe diagram that Drew had handed out, you'll see on the very right-hand side some of the incredible upticks in employee engagement, time to market, quality, all the things that are really important to an organization. And these are real case studies. So as I mentioned, the framework is pretty busy. And for those of you new to it, you might say, hey, where am I on that framework? How can we really kind of strip this out and build it back up again? So that's what I wanted to do this morning, and I'll jump over here and talk through some of the levels and some of the things we do within SAFe. So let's talk about the levels. Now we have a blank framework. Really great way, a clean slate to start to build from. 3 levels in SAFe in 3.0, the team, the program, and the portfolio. As I mentioned earlier, the House of Lean. The House of Lean and Lean leadership is very important to agility at scale. Taking a class in leading SAFe, reading the Phoenix Project, taking a look at the 5 dysfunctions of a team by Lencioni, all key elements to great leadership. So as we see here, we have the team, the program, and the portfolio, and then the Agile release train. So the Agile release train puts together that virtual team who's going to develop and deliver to the program. SAFe's no good without people, so let's jump on to the people that are engaged, the knowledge workers who are there. So we added some people to our framework here. Starting from the bottom, we have the team, Agile teams, developers and testers, the Scrum Master and Product Owner, the system team. On the Agile release train, you see a new face, the release train engineer, person responsible for keeping the train on the tracks, the person responsible for taking the team through release planning, the person who's executing for the entire program. We also have the system architect, UX, DevOps, shared services, all first-class citizens, and all those people should be included in your release planning. DevOps is almost the land that Agile forgot in a way. When I was at a conference earlier this year, there was a lot of people saying, wow, I'm kind of getting surprised. I'm in the DevOps space, and I'm really frustrated because all of a sudden at the end of every sprint, I get a whole bunch of 911 calls to go ahead and stand up a server, do this, do that. I said, oh, that's what's missing. DevOps is a first-class citizen. Bring them into release planning so there isn't a surprise. So there isn't a 911 call at the end of a given sprint that we need to stand up a server. Those people are involved and engaged in in release planning, they will have seen that. They will have seen that dependency as well. We also have our Lean Agile leaders added, the enterprise architect, the epic owners, and the program portfolio team. So I'm trying to get to the backlogs, but there we go. So the backlogs. So as you can see on the framework big picture, we just exposed another piece, and that's the backlogs. This is not ideal. There we go, playing that transition. So there's 3 levels of the backlogs, which comprise the enterprise backlog model, the portfolio, which contains our epics, the program backlog, which contains features, and the team backlog, which contains the stories. And that flow goes from all the way up at the top there, the epic owners and the enterprise architect who's providing guidance, all the way through those program epics. Program management provides vision and a roadmap to get that through the system. Again, really coming through and leveraging the agility that's already in place, not making up new words for you guys. Let's talk about the cadence. So we leverage agility and scaled agile in the framework. Right down at the bottom, we look at a release planning program increment, and then we honor the 2-week sprints as they go across, ending in the IP sprint, innovation and planning. Used to be the HIP sprint in 2.5, hardening innovation planning, or integration and planning. And then we look out to our I&As and our system demos. Every 2 weeks we have a system demo, just like in Agile, normal, standard operating procedures. But then at the end of our program increment, we have a inspect and adapt process. At Scaled Agile, we eat our own dog food and drink our own champagne. So we go through our PIs and then come back and say, hey, let's inspect and adapt. What went right? What went wrong? What can we change? How can we get better? Relentless improvement. Code quality. As Dean and the team say at Scaled Agile, you really can't scale bad code. So let's talk a little bit about code quality. So we look at code quality as we brought it up here. We look at agile architecture, continuous integration, and test-first development. Really need to start our development understanding what those tests will look like, making sure it's good quality code. And as we can see, we've added the architectural runway. There isn't a spike at the beginning. Architecture evolves continuously. And then, of course, we can release on demand, and we have spikes and refactors, and then the IP sprint. When I was first introduced to Agile, I was working for a large system integrator for the US government. And we started down this path of Agile. And one of the biggest concerns that came out of the teams doing Agile was at the end of a given effort, there was no time for innovation, for planning, for looking at doing things a new way. And it really felt as though we were burning out the people on our teams. Because really they wanted that time to really stop, give 10% back, do something a little bit different, or give feedback to the team. I really felt like we were crushing the teams. And when I was reintroduced to Dean and the team with Scaled Agile, it's like, oh, that was what we were missing. We really didn't have that IP sprint. That IP sprint really helps out the team get back to basics, clean up code, clean up their work, and get ready for the next release planning, the next program increment. So it really gives that team that time in that last sprint. A lot of the times at Scaled Agile, we call it the cleanup sprint. If there's anything that was left, anything we really need to get fine tunings on, we get it done then. It becomes fairly busy. It's not procrastinating. We're not putting big things in the back, but we use that time to clean things up. When we talk about the Kaizen, we talk about continuous improvement. The team at Scaled Agile looked at that and said, continuous improvement is good, but relentless improvement really puts a fire under it. What are we doing every day to improve, to get better as a team? So when we look at relentless improvement, we have metrics on the framework. And then we also have our program increment objectives, and then the team's objectives. So at Scaled Agile, I work for a team of individuals who market our products, sell our products, and also support our partners like CA. So each week we look at our PI objectives and say, hey, how are we doing against these PI objectives? Are we red, yellow, or green? Because we've already mapped out all of our sprints during our program increment planning, our release planning. We've taken a look at all the work that we need to do over the next 10 to 12 weeks. Take a look at all those sprints, and we actually map out all of our sprints. And then come back and say, okay, is this the right place? Is there some trade-offs? Try not to work at 100% capacity either. So relentless improvement happens every day. Economic prioritization. I think it's Drucker who said, you can ignore the economics, but they won't ignore you. So let's take a look. The top level, the portfolio, updated significantly from 2.5 to 3.0. The portfolio has the budgets for the value streams for which we will launch an Agile release train. The work we've done in 4.0 to expose an entire layer of the framework to value streams is very compelling. We've done a lot of work there on the content and the abstracts for value streams, because really it's the value stream for which we're going to have an Agile release train be launched. The Agile release train being that group of teams, of Agile teams, who's going to bring all the features and functionality to bear during that program increment. Let's see here. Back to the framework. So we've gone ahead and stripped the framework down, built it back up, looked at economic prioritization, looked at the levels, looked at the folks who are needed in there. Now let's talk about implementing, because you really need a path to implement. The graphic that you have on the back page of your Scaled Agile framework talks about achieving success one Agile release train at a time. And CA has the folks within their organization who can help with step one. They can help train your organization on how to implement SAFe, how to implement the Scaled Agile framework. That's really step one. Having someone at the program level who's a SAFe program consultant in your organization can help drive change from the program level, where change can be seen greatest. So those SAFe program consultants are the change agents for your organization. They're certified and can then train teams and launch Agile release trains. Step two is, after we've decided what value stream we're going to launch in ARD on, an Agile release train, we need to train leadership, management, all the directors and leaders on that value stream, because this is a new way of working. As we say, we don't want your buy-off, we want your leadership, because you're going to be involved in release planning. As a leader, those folks who are CXO, VP levels, you're going to come into the room and provide program vision. What is the goal of the next 10 weeks, 12 weeks worth of effort? Giving your organization not the what, but the why we're doing something. It's very important. This 2-day class gets leadership on board, educated, and ready for the Agile release train process. Step three is train Agile teams and launch the train. So over a 5-day period, we'll come in, work with your teams, re-baseline the team on SAFe, Scrum, and XP best practices, a class called SAFe for Teams. We'll work with the product owners and the Scrum Masters on a half-day orientation, have them understand their new way of working here with SAFe. And then we get the entire team together. I just talked to one of our associates who's in Northern California this week, supporting a group in San Jose, a group in Chennai, and Bangalore on a multi-location Agile release train. They've had some pretty late nights, up till about 2 in the morning. But getting the team engaged and involved in understanding what they're committing to over the next 10 to 12 weeks of effort is amazing. And our colleague Sue, being more on the sales and marketing front, has said, wow, this has been such an amazing experience because we're doing something in 3 different locations. We're getting all the senior leadership on board and engaged. And now the teams are confident in knowing not only what to build, but why they're building it. And Scaled Agile has done these with the help of CA in over 5 different locations. Last year we did a Agile Release Train launch in Sweden, London, Andover, Massachusetts, Pune, and California. You got to have great communication set up for those things. So that's step 3. Train the teams and launch the train. And then deliver results. Some of the customers we've gone back to have said, hey, you know, we see the outcomes. Why aren't we seeing those outcomes here? And we'll go back to them and say, hey, are you doing the I&As? Are you doing your system team demos? Well, yeah, we kind of didn't do that. Absent of the ceremonies, SAFe will not work. The framework works when followed. And that's why having SAFe program consultants in your organization, or depending on the folks at CA, to help you through those transitions, because being an SPC is one step. Training and developing other folks is something that CA has done very well, and they've built a team around it of transformation consultants who we depend on, so you can too. So where do we go from here? As I mentioned, first step, go to the scaledagileFramework.com. It is a freely available, publicly facing framework. All of the icons can be clicked. All the abstracts and the articles are there. If you click on the case studies, the newest case studies we have, one from Nordea Bank and then just recently from Electa. And then take training. You can either look at scaledagile.com/training, take a look at our worldwide classes. These are done by CA worldwide and other partners. It's a universal training calendar to see when can I get trained. And really at the end of the day, when we have the Agile Transformation Zone, you really don't have to look too far to find a partner. CA's acquisition of Rally means a great deal to Scaled Agile. We now have a double partner in force to help organizations like yours take their agility from the team level to an enterprise scale. And the outcomes are amazing. When you have transparency, visibility, and alignment to not only the what, but the why something is being built, you get stickier folks in your organization that stay, and they add great people to your organization. So at the end of the day, we're here to help, and that's why we make SAFe free. That's why we make it public. And I'll be at the Agile Transformation Zone this afternoon talking about the SAFe principles, the 9 principles that make SAFe safe. And the transformation consultants at Rally, or excuse me, at CA, still trying to learn that transition, sorry, with the orange coach jerseys, all know enough to be dangerous about the Scaled Agile framework and can help out. I'll be there most of the day, and we're here at your service because I live in a world that is absolutely running on software. And if we can delight the customer every time we deliver something, that's why we're here at the end of the day. Is customer satisfaction, whether those customers are internal or external, and also our internal customer, our developer, our tester, our documentation person. We want those people to develop great things so we can have great business outcomes. So thanks very much for your time. As I mentioned, I'll be at the Agile Transformation, the Agile Zone in the Volunteers Orange, and we'll answer any questions and be there for you however you need. Thanks.